Hello, it's been a while. If you're new to the channel, you've never seen one of these videos. Used to make them, didn't like them, deleted them. If you've only come around for the podcast, hello, this is my face. So the podcast's currently on hold. I had a couple of great episodes lined up. I had one recorded. It was all going well, and the world kind of collapsed. So the podcast's on hold right now. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't have a platform to talk about wrestling, because I love talking about wrestling. There's a few people out here who somehow enjoy listening to me talk about wrestling. So, last night was WrestleMania, the first night of 2 nights. And I'm just going to try and keep this uncut and as natural as possible. I'm just going to talk about WrestleMania, about night 1. So, start with the pre-show. This man right here, Cesaro, with the Swiss Cyborg, or the Thwith Cyborg. Honestly, one of my favourite t-shirts I have. It's so dumb. He took on Drew Gulak on the kickoff show in a match that realistically should have went like 15 minutes. He got about 3. If that. It was good, don't get me wrong, it was good. Drew Gulak's fantastic, his whole stuff with Daniel Bryan's great. And putting a man like Drew Gulak with a man like Daniel Bryan is such a massive rub for Drew Gulak. It legitimises him in the eyes of the fans, and with speculation that Daniel Bryan wants to step away as a full-time performer soon, maybe we could see Drew Gulak kind of fill that work ratey slot that Bryan fills. And he took on Cesaro, who is obviously great. Cesaro won with an airplane spin, like a torture rack airplane spin with no hands, which was impressive, but didn't really feel like a finish. I should say he came for that because Drew Gulak had spent the majority of the match working on his arm, and he went for the neutralizer and he couldn't pick him up. So no arms, because he's just a man made out of a chunk of mountain. He was able to do it. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, but there wasn't a lot to really sink our teeth into. It was the kickoff show, so I kind of expected that. But I was expecting more from it, definitely. But it was still fun. It's good seeing Cesaro and Drew Gulak, like I say, on WrestleMania, which is a mad thought. There was some matches on this card when you like break it down that are like so crazy that it's happening on WrestleMania. But that was that match. I enjoyed it. Thought it was fun, but I just wish it went a wee bit longer. And the main show opened with Stephanie McMahon talking about this is the most unique WrestleMania ever, and thank you for joining. And just the kind of sort of typical. Oh, they also played a medley of everyone singing "America the Beautiful," like throughout the years, and I really enjoyed that. Michelle Williams, the third member of Destiny's Child, appeared before like Little Richard, Nicole Scherzinger, and maybe also John Legend. That's just me, I found that quite funny. But the first match of the show was the Women's Tag Team Championships. Kabuki Warriors took on, I'm not going to use their names, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I'm not going to call them by their stupid tag team name. Look it up if you want to know. It was a really good match. Kyrie and Asuka are great. Kyrie didn't get her pirate ship moment. Big sad faces all round. Nikki and Alexa are fantastic. I do think this is one of the matches that suffered from no crowd, because Nikki Cross looks like an absolute star coming out of this. She was kicking out of everything. She was fighting back. You know, the Kabuki Warriors would take out Alexa, and then Nikki would weather the storm somehow, and would keep fighting back and keep fighting back. And yeah, I thought she looked incredible without a crowd. It was weird because it was such a star-making performance. It was such a landmark performance for Nikki Cross. That is like, if nothing else, she always has this match. But if it was in front of a crowd, it would have been so much better. In the end, Cross and Bliss did pick up the titles. Hopefully this leads to Kyrie and Asuka splitting, having a little feud, because we need Kyrie back as a face. She's so great. They're both so great. And I hate to say it, but the Women's Tag Team Championships is a bit of a, not a death sentence, because they've done some great stuff with them. But the most memorable Asuka stuff has been feuding with Becky as the champion. Kyrie's not done anything really. I think Bliss and Cross are a good fit for it, kind of like the Iconics were. They're really entertaining, they're really funny, and they can have really good matches as well. But I don't know, I think they need to fix the Women's Tag Team division. But definitely, do think the right team won here. Massive congratulations to Nikki Cross, Mona Scotland. I've got an Ireland flag there, but Scotland flag up there. Just good match, good solid open to the show, good feel-good win for the start of the show. The next match on the show was a match I wasn't particularly excited for. It was King Corbin and Elias, two guys who I love, but there wasn't much there. I think Corbin's fantastic. If you know me, you know I think Corbin's fantastic. But they never ever do the right thing with him. And when they introduced him as King of the Ring, I was like, fantastic, brilliant character, reset, change it all, restart, build him up from the ground up. And he's just done the same thing, the exact same thing, but now had a crown. I just don't get what they're doing with him. I think he's great. Also, Elias. I love Elias, but he's got a bit of a ceiling. I wasn't entirely invested in this match. It was just a SmackDown match. There was no real stakes except for the fact that Elias was thrown off the big platform and totally didn't land on Crash Mats. He landed on concrete for real. Corbin came out to the ring, was like, Elias won't be here. I killed him dead. He's dead. Raise my hand. I'm the winner. Then Elias came out, didn't sing a song, just cracked Corbin with a guitar. And had a good match. I did enjoy it. It was a good match between the two of them. They put on, you know, they showed what they can do really well. But the finish then, the end, Corbin was caught cheating, had his feet on the ropes, and then Elias rolled him up and grabbed the tights. It was a flat finish to a decent match, but the match itself up until the finish really exceeded expectations. I thought it was really good, and then it just the finish ruined it. I didn't enjoy it, but I also didn't love it. But it's also King Corbin and Elias, so like I wasn't expecting much anyway. Next, we had the Raw Women's Championship. Becky won. I love Becky, and it's a bit blasphemous to sit in front of this Ireland flag and tell you that Becky Lynch should have lost that championship, but she should have. She should have 100%. Her character since winning it last year, she went from the perennial underdog, like no one's close to in levels of popularity. She's the underdog, she's the people's champion. She was like as close to Stone Cold as we can probably get in the modern age, I would think. And the first few months after WrestleMania was good still. She lost the SmackDown title to, was it Charlotte? Yeah, Lacey came in and distracted her. Was it after she beat Lacey? I don't remember what it was. Then Bayley cashed in on Money in the Bank. It was a whole big thing. But say from summertime, that's when the shine started to go off Becky. Because someone would come up and challenge Becky, Becky would beat them. If someone would come and challenge Becky, then Becky would beat them. And then Asuka came up, and Asuka's very credible because she's Asuka. But then Becky just beat her. She ran through the entire division, no one looked like a credible threat. And then Shayna came up in the Royal Rumble. And Shayna came out in the Royal Rumble, kicked everyone's head off their shoulders. And then Charlotte won. Because I can't have nice things. Specifically me. And then she won, then the Elimination Chamber thing happened, which... That Elimination Chamber is one change off of being perfect. Shayna comes in number 5 instead of number 4. So if you didn't watch what happened, Shayna Baszler, the cage fighter, also if you're unfamiliar, Shayna Baszler, one of the 4 horsewomen of MMA, only 2-time NXT champion, former UFC fighter, or cage fighter, I don't know if she was in the UFC, she may have been, I've not done more research, I'm meant to be a journalist. Anyway, former cage fighter, genuinely one of the hardest women on the planet, scary as anything, incredible wrestler. She was then entered into the Elimination Chamber after debuting on Raw and biting Becky. Forget about it. She then came in at number 4 in the Elimination Chamber when 3 people were still in and made them all tap out, made them all go to sleep. And then Liv Morgan came in number 5 and she made her go to sleep in like 3 minutes. So then there was just 2 minutes of awkwardness as she sat outside Asuka's pod waiting for Asuka to come out. If she'd have come in at number 5, took out the 4 of them and then just waited outside of Asuka's pod right at the door, not even in the ring, at the door, and just stood there waiting for her, would have been incredible. But then she won the Elimination Chamber and then got to Becky. And recently, if you've not been watching, Becky's been wearing meme sunglasses and a crown and big, fancy, snazzy, extravagant Conor McGregor jackets. And everything was set up for the character of Becky Lynch to be humbled at WrestleMania. Everything was set up for the character of Becky Lynch to get demolished, picked apart, absolutely just broken, for her then to come back up as the man, as the same person that cracked Ronda Rousey around the head with a crutch because Ronda didn't get her fucking hands up like an idiot, the same person that won the first ever women's main event in WrestleMania history, the same person that had all those great matches with Charlotte in 2018. It was set to bring that back. And after a fantastic, I won't lie, it was a fantastic match. Shayna looked like an absolute fucking star. She locked in the counter for the clutch. And then Becky rolled back, and Becky pinned her. Oh, I hope. I don't even know. Because in my heart of hearts, I want to think they're doing it to then have this moment in front of a crowd. To then have, like, you know, however many thousands of people heartbroken and, like, just losing, like, lost for words when Becky's finally beat. But the shine is off Shayna now. If Shayna does come in, the only way to really rebuild Shayna is if she does get a rematch in front of a crowd, like a minute and a half. Like, a minute and a half at most. She just fucking picks her apart and chokes her out, and that's it. It's the only way we can rebuild Shayna right now, I think. It was the wrong call. I still liked it. It was still a really, really good match. Becky's still maybe my favourite women's wrestler of all time. Definitely a top 10, irrespective of gender. She's top 10 wrestler full stop of all time. Becky Lynch in my books. But right now she's not clicking with me. And the one thing that would have done it is if she goes back to being the man. But she can't go back to being the man unless she's the underdog. But she's not fucking underdog because she beat the one person that could. Oh! Right, I'm just gonna skip over this. We're just gonna not talk about it anymore in case I have an aneurysm. Then next with the Intercontinental Championship match, Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. Sami Zayn was flanked by the Artist Collective, dressed as Fidel Castro, the Great Liberator. What a man! Against Daniel Bryan, who was flanked by Drew Gulak. This match, we're gonna get this out of the way first. This match only went 8 minutes. It was a fantastic 8 minutes. It was a really, really good 8 minutes, but it only went 8 minutes. It never got out of, like, third, I don't think. It never really, like, kicked into that next bit. It felt like they were building to 20. And those 8 minutes we got were fantastic, but it always felt like they were... The only way I can describe it is... I don't even know. Everything felt like it was going to jump up next. It was a brilliant start to the match, but that was just the whole match. There was obviously interference from the Artist Collective, Drew Gulak falling over the barriers, and he didn't come up for about 4 years, so the Performance Centre has pitched to hell, evidently. They got involved. It was a lot of fun. Sami Zayn was running around being, you know, a chicken shit heel, which he's been fantastic at. You had the outside interference, but not too much of it. Yeah, Gulak still looking great. You know, squaring up to, you know, Nakamura and Cesaro, who are slowly rebuilding themselves with Sami. Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. But like I say, it just felt like it was destined to jump up, and it just never. The finish was really good though. Daniel Bryan came off the top rope and just got caught with a haluva kick, just as he was falling. And I didn't think that was going to be the finish, but it was. And I like that. I do like weird finishes that don't feel like they're the finish. Like that. If it's something with like a kick to the head, randomly, that doesn't feel built to or earned, and then that's the finish, I always like them because it's a fucking kick to the head. But it's on the same end of it. If John Cena wins a match now with one attitude adjustment, we're like, oh, what the fuck was the point of that? But I liked it. I did think it was very good. Hopefully they get more time the next time they do it. Those 5 men in and around the Intercontinental Championship, Nakamura, Cesaro, Zayn, Gulak and Bryan, if we can just like interchange, just like pick one of them out and keep changing them around and having those matches specifically, or just a big fatal 5-way that goes half an hour, it'll be good as long as they're just given the creative freedom to do what they need to do. Like I say, a really good match, just should have went a bit longer. Even another 5 minutes I think would have, you know, bumped up to being one of the best matches maybe of all Manias ever. Is that a really smarky dickhead thing to say? Fuck it, I'm saying it. It's my video. Next time we had the weirdest match of the night. So it was for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, but The Miz wasn't there, and he's one half of the Tag Team Champion. So it was originally scheduled to be a triple threat ladder match: the Usos, the New Day, and Miz and Morrison. But due to the fact that The Miz wasn't there, it just became a standard one-on-one triple threat: Morrison, Kofi, and Jimmy. And it was always going to be great, but it felt weird that it was for the tag titles. It was fantastic. It was a ladder match from Kofi Kingston, Jimmy Uso, and John Morrison. It was absolutely incredible. The only thing that hindered it was JBL on commentary. Morrison hit like a spinning front flip senton with like a full 360 off the turnbuckle post at the back onto Jimmy Uso, who was set up on a ladder set in between the ropes in the corner. And JBL went, all that athleticism, he reminds me of a young Mr. Perfect. Forgot that Mr. Perfect taught Will Ospreay everything he knows. Fantastic match, really good spots. There was a couple, one in particular, obvious crash mat spot. Jimmy Uso was climbing the ladder, then John Morrison pushes it over, and Uso just goes right to the floor. And WrestleMania was pre-taped, if you didn't know, because of sanctions put in place by the Florida governor. So they had to rush to get it taped in time to air on the days they picked. But the way they edited this, it looked very seamless. So Jimmy Uso hits the floor, and then I think they must have just paused the scene and got John Morrison and Kofi Kingston to stand perfectly still while they took the crash mat out from under Jimmy Uso, hit it, and then restarted all. If not, Jimmy Uso just fucking took a bump to the floor from like 25 feet in the air, which I don't think he did. But it looked quite seamless. It looked very seamless. But the match was great. There was a lot of really fun, inventive spots. Kofi at one point springs up. Morrison's on the ladder, but he's facing the other way. He's facing, so the ladder's there, and then Morrison's facing that way on this side. And Kofi springs up onto the ladder and hits a rana off it, which was insane. There was where Kofi went to like go through it, like jump through and drop kick Morrison and Jimmy. They just caught him and carried him and then threw him out the other side. It was so good. It was amazing. And the finish was incredible. But, as my friend Emmett pointed out to me, it was a bit weird. So the finish, they were all on top of a ladder each. Well, two of them on one and then Jimmy on the other. And they were all reaching for the thing, the little clasp, like, title holder, whatever the fuck you call it, the little triangle thing that holds the championships. And then Jimmy Uso unclasped that from the hook, which in every ladder match, for as long as I've been watching back anyway, so TLC 2015 was like my first real pay-per-view back into WWE, and I might be talking it my arse, but I also think they had it for the Harper and Ziggler match at TLC the year before, maybe, but I know definitely had it at TLC 2015, and the Usos, New Day, and Lucha Dragons match, which was fucking incredible. That whole like triangular thing that the belts are strapped onto. The person who takes, so they've always been taking that down and not grabbing the championships, as was always the case. So they're all up there. Morrison and Kofi have a hand on it, and then Jimmy Uso just unclasps it flat out. But the bell doesn't ring yet, because they all have a hand on the championships, even though Jimmy's the one who done what you're meant to do. Then they all have a fight, and there was a point where it looked like it was going to be Jimmy Uso and Kofi Kingston as an odd couple tag team champions, and I would have fucking loved that. But Morrison's holding on to the belts, they're holding on to the clasp thing, holder, whatever you call it, and they both headbutt Morrison, and he falls back and pulls both titles with him, which I thought was great. But when it was pointed out that every ladder match for however long has been about grabbing the thing they're on, not the championships itself, kind of took away from it. But I did really like the finish, just a bit odd and weird. But I do think that was the right call. It would have been weird switching the titles without Miz there. You know, it was weird. They made the most of it, having it be one-on-one instead of triple threat tag team rules. But I really liked it. It was like I say, a ladder match between three of the best athletes in the company. anytime you get a member of the New Day and a member of the Usos in the ring, I'm going to love it. You put John Morrison in the ladder match, I'm there for it. I thought it was fantastic, just hindered by the circumstances of it not being a proper tag team match. But I still thought it was really, really good. Now we're into the match that I was the most excited for. I think, was it? Night 1. I don't know. There's a lot of good matches on night 1 on paper. Well, that's a lie. I was most excited for Becky and Shayna. Right. Just gonna calm down. Not going to talk about it because I might have an aneurysm, like I said. It was Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. Honestly, two of my favourite wrestlers in WWE. Two of the best. Full stop. Kevin Owens is just it's such a weird thing seeing Kevin Owens look the way he looks and making it as big as he has in WWE. You know, Rollins, it makes sense. Rollins is, you know, he might not be the tallest guy in the world, but he's carved out of fucking granite. He looks the way he does. Kevin Owens dresses like your dad at the side of a pool at Tenerife. Do you know what I mean? Kevin Owens in a pair of shorts and a vest. He's got a beer belly. But he's still, but like, that takes nothing away from that. He's honestly one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. So seeing those two get to do it at WrestleMania was incredible. I saw Kevin Owens tweet this morning, and we'll get to this later, but he did say when he went to the stadium it was meant to be at for a show in January, he saw the big pirate ship and was committed to jumping off it. He jumped off something because it was in the performance centre, so they couldn't get the big massive like 50 feet pirate ship up, but he jumped off something. We'll get to it. So they had a good match. Rollins came out dressed as Jesus in all white, and as Malcolm Bevan said, Seth fit better than anything in the world. Honestly, yeah. Then Kevin Owens came out in a lovely KO Mania shirt, and they had a great match. But then Rollins hit him with the ring bell and got disqualified. And then Rollins is leaving, being all messianic and what have you, and then Kevin Owens goes, "No disqualification, fight me. I'm not having you weasel your way out of this. It's WrestleMania, let's fucking go." And then they had some more amazing wrestling, and Kevin Owens set him up on the announce table. And you know the big WrestleMania sign that people point to? If you're Ronda Rousey, you do it really awkwardly. You go, you do that part. Instead of just go, still. Ronda Rousey makes a fucking big song and dance it and all that crap. You know that one? The very same one that everyone points to on the road to WrestleMania. That, I'm pretty sure that exact one was up behind the commentary desk at ringside. So Kevin Owens climbed to the top of that and just hit a back senton elbow drop thing through Rollins on the announce table. It was fucking incredible. I'm probably going to put that as a thumbnail for the video. It was amazing. It was so good. And they rolled him in the ring, stunner, pinned him. God bless Kevin Owens. Love that man. Also, I mentioned this last night to a couple of my friends. What do you think? Is Seth Rollins the new Mr. WrestleMania? He's now 6-2 at WrestleMania. His only losses coming to Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. He has my personal favourite WrestleMania moment of all time when he ran in the middle of the match and won the title. At the match with Hunter, he operates on such a high level year round anyway, but he always seems to get something very good come WrestleMania time. So is he the new Mr. WrestleMania? Just a little comment. Tell me if you think I'm a dickhead, or if you agree with me, or both. You might think I'm a dickhead, but go, it's a good point. So I forgot to mention that Rob Gronkowski is the host of WrestleMania this year. Rob Gronkowski is when he's not playing American football and being very good at that, he has all the characteristics and personality traits of a child with ADHD's imaginary friend. He's such an annoying individual. Mojo, who has pretty much the same shtick, is great. There's something endearing about Mojo, I think. There's something about Mojo that you're like, oh, what's he like? Even though Gronk has all the same characteristics and personality traits as Mojo, I hate him. And I love Mojo. There's something endearing about Mojo. As I would put it, Mojo Rawley is the Duracell Bunny on coke, and Rob Gronkowski is the Duracell Bunny on crack. And when I read that, yeah, that's exactly it. Then, so they were up on the little platform that Elias was nearly murdered from, hosting the show, boogieing all night. We'd cut up to them sometimes, we'd be having a dance. And I don't know, Gronk was trying too hard to be silly and goofy and wacky, and Mojo was just doing it perfectly. Maybe that's just because I love Mojo, but I thought every time it went up, I was like, oh, look, Mojo, what a boy. Fucking Gronk. Then, R-Truth ran up and was all, guys, can you look after me? It's hard being the 24/7, 48/7, all of his different assorted names for it. It's hard being the 24/7 champion. And then Gronk pushed him over and tried to pin him, and I was filled with existential fear and dread. But it was cool because Mojo pulled him off. It was all, not today, Playboy. Pinned him. Mojo's the champ. Like, fuck Gronk. See, when he walked up, I got so scared that Gronk was going to be the champ. At least Mojo is my boy, my friend Mojo, my big pal. What a boy. I like this, mainly because Rob Gronkowski is not the 24/7 champion, and it's Mojo. Just a little fun filler spot before the piss break match, which was the Universal Championship match. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. It was the Universal Championship match. That was the piss break match. Goldberg and Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman came out wearing not his ring trousers, just a pair of camel trousers that he has lying about because it's a big fucking redneck. And Goldberg came out, he threw a couple punches, couple kicks. Goldberg speared him. And Braun got right back up. And he speared him again, and again, and again. It was 4 spears. And I was fucking terrified. And then Braun countered either a jackhammer or a spear, I don't remember. And power slammed him once, power slammed him 2 times, power slammed him a 3rd time, and then did a little run for his 4th one, power slammed him. And Braun Strowman is now the Universal Champion. It's like his 8th time. 8th time of asking, he finally won it. Thank God we don't need to do one more Goldberg. Thank God. It wasn't a good match. It lasted, I think, 2 minutes and 11 seconds was the official time for it. It wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it. But at least Goldberg's not the champ. Yeah, at least Goldberg's not the champ. We'd be happy about that. Although Braun's going to immediately lose it to Roman when all this is blown over and Roman feels comfortable wrestling. I should also point out, I know this is a weird time to point it out, I do not agree with wrestling shows being held at this time. The companies who are putting on shows, even though they're corporations, we all know they're corporations, they are putting the safety of their performers so far underneath their own brand image and their own hubris. And I understand it's EAW are doing the same, and I love AEW, but they're not free from criticism. I think it is, everything should be suspended right now in terms of wrestling. And I understand that with AEW's case, the people who don't want to come to the shows and don't want to wrestle don't have to, which in WWE you'll probably lose your push if you say, I'm not doing it unless you're Roman Reigns, because obviously his underlying health condition and his weakened immune system means, he definitely shouldn't be doing this. I think he made the right call pulling out. I am 100% supportive of that decision. I am also 100% against the idea that wrestling's going to keep going on, but at the same time I know how hypocritical it is because I'm going to watch it. But that's just because we're all fucking bored. We're all bored. I do think it's a very murky situation, but I do 100% agree with Roman Reigns' decision to pull out of this event and all future events until he feels comfortable being back. So I'd like to point that out. And I know I'm a filthy hypocrite, but it's just the way it is, isn't it? Okay, so that was a little bit serious, a little bit real there. So we're going to take it nice and lighthearted. For the main event of the evening, the Boneyard match, which going into it, I knew was going to be somewhat like what it was. One, it's called a Boneyard match, so we knew it had to be something weird. Jeremy Borash is signed to WWE, and he and Matt Hardy are the 2 men who crafted the Final Deletion, the Ultimate Deletion, all the big cinematic spectacles. It was them 2 who crafted them. I believe was it them who went to court against Impact, or Impact presented JB as their employee because he directed them in the whole lawsuit thing from a couple of years ago. All I know is Jeremy Borash had a massive part in the Broken Universe. And his fingerprints were all over this last night. It was fucking incredible. So it started, some cinematic shots of a graveyard, and then a hearse pulls up, Undertaker's music's playing, and then a druid gets out, opens the back of the hearse and pulls the coffin out. Then it opens and AJ Styles is in there. And AJ Styles gets out. It's great. He's wearing bootcut jeans, which is not so great. Wearing bootcut jeans, cut off OC shirt, and his gloves. Amazing. Just so great. And then the Undertaker pulls up on the bike. Biker Taker's back. But I think they were playing Metallica and not... I think someone on Twitter said it was Metallica. It definitely wasn't Limp Bizkit, which I'm upset about. So yeah, then Biker Taker pulled up into the graveyard on his bike in big leather trousers and a big leather vest with all of his and then a bandana, and it was cool. It was, honestly, I thought it was cool. Like, maybe because of how like silly this match was, I finally got Biker Taker. Never got it before. I was never a fan of Biker Taker. But because this match was presented and filmed like like the final fight scene from some cheesy B movie, Biker Taker clicked for me. And maybe it will only ever click in this exact setting, but I loved it. So yeah, Biker Taker, or just on it, it's just Mark Calloway. Mark Calloway and Alan Jones had a scrap. That was what it was. It was two rednecks having a scrap in a graveyard. It was amazing. It was incredible. He got the best of AJ at the start, and then what it was it was a Buried Alive match essentially, but filmed with like such high production value. It was amazing. Honestly, it was so good. Worth getting the network alone. I think it was so good. And after like 5 minutes of brawling, he throws AJ into the ditch, and then Gallows and Anderson shout, they're here to join the ruckus. They're stood in front of like a shed thing, a big sort of like shed barn looking thing, and there's a big light from inside it, and then all the walls of it come crashing down. And I thought it was Kane. Thought Kane had come to even the odds, but no. Like 10 guys dressed as druids came out and surrounded the Undertaker. Keep in mind, he's not the Undertaker, he's just Mark Calloway. He puts his fists up and he just looks at them and goes, "We're gonna do this?" And then he just starts throwing hands at them all like he's Sylvester Stallone in some dumb action movie, and it was great. And the OC get involved, and then AJ now gets back into the fray. It's so good. There's also a point I forgot to mention which I loved. Cuts to behind one of the tombstones. They're fighting at the car at the hearse, and the camera's behind here. So the car's like here, the cameraman's here, and there's like a tombstone here. But you can see in the back of the tombstone, it's just a prop they've got off some prop lot. It's like hollowed out and wooden, and it was amazing. It was so good. Just even seeing that, I loved it. Because you know, like for that shot, it's quite prominent. He's not missed it. I loved it. Yeah, so then after some more scrapping and 3-on-1 antics and hitting him with a shovel and stuff, AJ finally gets the best of the Undertaker, throws him into the grave, gets on the John Deere, turns it on, and a big flash of white light from behind AJ, and the Undertaker stood behind him. He can't dump the dirt in because there's no one in the grave. Oh, it was great. And then he chases him back to the barn from earlier, and AJ climbs up a ladder, and the Undertaker follows him up. And Gallows and Anderson follow him up to the roof, and they get dealt with. There's like AJ gets chokeslammed on the roof, and it sounded like it was on like just like metal. It sounded quite nasty. And Gallows gets thrown off the roof and just sort of it doesn't. Obviously, there's a crash mat there, but Gallows just kind of does my least favorite move in wrestling. You know the flying nothing. You know when someone goes up to the top rope, clearly just to be caught with, for example, like if Daniel Bryan was catching with a yes lock, they just sort of don't even go for anything. They just kind of go and then bang, they're caught. He done one of them off the roof. It was great. And then Carl Anderson got tombstoned on the roof. And AJ got chokeslammed off the roof through like a stack of wooden pallets or something, which was like a wooden pallet thing or like some wooden boards over obviously over a crash mat. And the Undertaker gets down, drags him over to it, and AJ's like, I'm sorry. And Undertaker's like, you want to talk shit about my wife now? What's my wife's name? He's just being a big redneck. And then he's like, please don't bury me. And he's like, I'm going to bury you. You kidding me on? It's the fight of my life. You give me the fight of my life. It's WrestleMania, you showed up. You give the Undertaker the fight of his life at WrestleMania, and they hug. And I was like, what's happening here? AJ's going to kick him in the balls and throw him in. And then Mark was like, nah, we're good. We're good. We're both big rednecks. We're good. We're friends now. And he walks away. And then he has a change of heart. And he big boots him and he falls in. And then he dumps all the dirt on him. It was I'm not doing it justice. I'm walking it through bit by bit, but everything about it was incredible. And then Undertaker gets back on his bike. He picks his bandana up because his bandana fell off earlier. He picks his bandana up, puts that on, gets on his bike, raises his hand, and then... Oh, I forgot to mention as well, when AJ was running away from the Undertaker on the roof earlier before Gallows and Anderson got involved, fire just burst up behind him and AJ got a fright. And now he set the entire roof on fire. And Carl Anderson was still on that roof. We have to imagine, after getting tombstoned on it. Carl Anderson was still there. But yeah, Undertaker was on his bike in front of the big shed thing, and he goes like that, and fire. And then he rides his motorcycle off into the distance, into the horizon. And that was the Boneyard match. And honestly, it might be my favourite thing in wrestling that's happened in a long time. I don't love it as much as the Final Deletion. I think I like it more than the Ultimate Deletion, which I also loved. The fact they took this so seriously, well, you know they were having fun, but the way they were portraying their characters, it was so serious to them, even though you could tell they were having so much fun doing it all. Like I say, it looked like the final fight from some cheesy B-movie that like Stallone was in or something. It was great. I loved it. It was so good. It was a great end to WrestleMania. That was only night 1. Obviously tomorrow you get a night 2 video. But yeah, that was great. Honestly, it's got me so excited for the Firefly Funhouse tonight, which is going to be amazing. See, overall my thoughts on WrestleMania was good. Probably shouldn't have happened. Definitely shouldn't have happened with all that's going on. But I still had a lot of fun watching the show, as much as it did conflict me on the inside. I thought it was a really good show, really fun show. A couple of weird decisions, such as Shayna losing, and then the weird non-finish in the Rollins and Owens match, the weird finish, and then the disqualification. That was weird. But then I had you had the star-making performance in Nikki Cross. You had Owens going off the WrestleMania sign. You had the Boneyard match. You had, I forgot to mention, Becky Lynch came up in a custom The Man Big Rig, Optimus Prime style boy. Because it's WrestleMania, obviously. It felt like WrestleMania, even though it didn't have the atmosphere, which is weird to say because WrestleMania is all about the atmosphere. It created enough memorable moments to still feel like WrestleMania, is what I'm trying to say. And it had enough star-making performances to also still kind of feel like WrestleMania. Overall, like I say, it was a good show. Tomorrow's the real test if it can live up to it. I think the Firefly Funhouse match is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be incredible. Because The Fiend as a character, you can pull off, and Bray Wyatt in general, can do stuff that with any other wrestler would look like hokey bullshit for no reason. But there's something about Bray Wyatt. So, hopefully Mania tonight is just as good, if not better. And I'll see you tomorrow with the second part of this video.